Welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to explain topic number 5, example 5, 6 and 7 of topic number 5. Please follow me and let us explain our examples as we solve mathematics problems under Pearson and Excel International Advanced Level. In example 5, we are told that the line y is equals to 4x minus 8 meets the x-axis. It meets x-axis at point P, and then we are supposed to work out the coordinates of point P. Well, it is important to note that if we can just sketch something to do with that and assume that is the line, it can be anything. Of course, the gradient is positive, so we are talking about such kind of a line. It meets the x-axis at point P. And you can see point P, we are expected to give the coordinates of point P. You must always note that along x-axis, always remember, along the x-axis, y is always equals to 0. So we are simply talking about the coordinates of point P, whereby it has a specific value of x, but of course y is 0. What do we mean by this? We just substitute this 0 in the equation given and have 4x minus 8 is equals to 0. And if this is true, then 4x is equals to 8 and x is equals to 2. So point P has coordinates 2, 0, and that is just like it. If you look at example 6, and before example 6, this was example 5. This was example 5. We are told that equations of a straight line, you can get the equation. There's some information that on page 89 written under 5.2, equations of straight lines. And we are told that you can define a straight line by giving a point on the line and the gradient, or two different points on the line. But of the most importance that is that the equation of a line with the gradient m, that passes through the point with coordinates with, let's talk about with gradient m, and passes through x1, y1 and x2, y2. The equation of that line is always given by a general y minus one value of y of one specific point equals to m x a general x minus x1. Please note that y1 and x1 reflects the y and x coordinates of a point that is given in the line. But y is general and x is of course general. M is the gradient of that particular straight line. So at that point, let's go to example 6. Let's explain something to do with example 6. And in example 6, we are supposed to find the equation of the line with gradient 5 that passes through the point 3, 2. The gradient is 5 and it passes through the point 3, 2. Using this formula, we just have to introduce a general y minus y1, which in this case is 2. We don't have a choice. Equals to the gradient, which is 5, multiplied a general x minus x1, which is 3. So we are going to talk of expanding this. You're going to have y minus 2 is equals to 5x minus 15. You open that bracket. And what we have now in terms of y is equals to 5x minus 15 plus 2. which gives us y minus is equals to 5x minus 13, and that becomes the equation of that straight line. Becomes the equation of the straight line. Please note we have been able to use the formula. This formula, y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. Let us understand example 7 in the same video. Example 7. What is in example 7? Example 7, you are told, find the equation of the line that passes through the point 5, 7, and 3, -1. Find the equation of a straight line that passes through these 2 points. One thing you will realize that is we do not have the gradient. So we have to find the gradient first. So what is the gradient? The gradient, which is m, is of course y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. And in this case, we can talk about 7 minus 1 all over 5 minus 3, which is 8 over 2, and the gradient is clearly 4. If the gradient is 4, now we can take a general y minus y1, and let's say plus 1, we use this point, is equals to the gradient, which is now 4, open the bracket, a general x minus x1, which is 3. If you open this bracket, we're going to find y plus 1 is equals to 4x minus 12. Making y the subject, you're going to have y is equals to 4x minus 13. 4x minus 12 minus 1 becomes minus 13. And that is just the equation. Please note that in example 6, we had been given the gradient and 1 point. In example 7, we had been given 2 points, 5, 7, and 3 minus 1. And in both cases, we have been able to use the knowledge that we've learned in the previous video to acquire the equation of 2 different straight lines. Please visit my YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and share widely so that students can benefit from this kind of explanation and tutorials. All right?